Hey, Mark.
Hey,
How
what's
you
up,
doing,
Paul?
buddy? We're
I'm
doing
doing great.
fantastic. Hey, tonight, it's not G-Force, it's Elevate Your Profits
Well, it
tonight.
could be G-force. It could be G-force.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about that for a moment. I am grateful for this moment and this day to share this platform with our audience and have you part of my life and part of my business and all that. So,
Well,
yeah, we
cool.
we can start with the gratitude.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Tom, can you tell me what we're really going to get into tonight here? I mean, is this kind of predicated on Robert Kiyosaki, his book, The Four Quadrants? I know you're going to talk about some things that you've done as a business owner, a consultant. You know quite a bit about the financial end of things since you've been in business for a little while. I'm kind of curious and also excited. We're going to talk about the processes America's gone through right now. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you're going to share with us this evening.
Yeah, tonight, we did have a guest schedule. I just want to let the audience know that circumstances came up, so we're putting this together on the fly here tonight. But I just told Mark I was going to take and identify what's happening in America today on the financial side, and so because we're here as Elevate Your Profits is helping individuals that may be inspiring entrepreneurs already in business. What can I do to improve my financial position? So that's our platform here. And tonight we really haven't, Mark, we haven't really had an opportunity really to banter back and forth about what we're doing and why we're doing it and what
Right.
our overall mission is. So maybe tonight we can get some clarity out there and help some individuals that are seeing this. And because finances is something we can't take lightly.
No, we cannot. And with that, I just have to ask this question before we get into it and go toe to toe, pound for pound, inch for inch about dollars and cents, my favorite subject matter. Um, what do you think's going on right now in the world today? I mean, financially, do you think we're in a good state, an in between state, or is it kind of going? Are we going the other way? And I don't mean to put you on the spot. Some people say they're doing well, and then others, with all this stuff with COVID, I'm hearing the exact opposite. As you know, I pound the phone a lot and talk to a lot of different business owners, CEOs, vice president of sales and marketing. Some companies are doing well, they're flourishing, depending on the industry, and then others, they're struggling.
Well, Mark, I'm going to talk reality here. People say things are good. A lot of people say things are good, but let's take a look at what's really going on in America today. I got involved in the financial services industry. I'm going to date myself a little bit. Back in 1983.
Woo!
And I got involved because money, my personal relationship with money, and I didn't want to end up like my parents coming from a depression era. And I
Right.
had a mindset of lack mentality, didn't have a good relationship with money and all that until I got some mentoring and awareness brought to me. So I decided to go
Right.
change careers and getting involved in the financial service industry. Back in 1983.
By the way, I was in the military back then, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I want to paint this picture. 15% of the American people back in 83 were going to be able to retire on time and with the same amount of income that their jobs provided them. Today, it's worse than that. It's less than 10% of the American people are going to be able to retire with adequate income. And there's a lot of we won't get into a lot of those reasons tonight, but that's
Right.
a reality. So anybody that's out there, question, what am I doing today to become financially independent? As a financial coach, there isn't any reason that an American that has a career and a job and can't be a millionaire by age 50. It's a mathematical problem. The question is, why don't people do it? So,
Right.
Mark, can I throw a couple numbers up here and you can?
Oh, I would love to see them. I think everybody would love to see them.
So as this is, I just pulled this information up here on the fly, but this is, let's take a look at this scenario. 11% are going to be able to retire on time. That
Wow.
means at an age that they decided they want to retire and with income that they wanted, only 11%.
So you're saying like 11% of everybody living in the United States. That's what we're talking about, essentially.
Exactly.
Wow.
And anybody can go out there and search the, the labor statistics and retirement, such as Social Security and all that. So how does one create retirement? How can one accelerate it? How do you become financially free? How do you become financially independent? Well, let me share something with you. Let's take a look at this, the 40-year plan. This is what we have been trained to do, right?
Oh, yeah.
Get a good job, get involved, hope you got a pension or put money away, 40 years.
Right.
Let's take a look at what it takes to be able to become, I like to share this number with you, that only 3% of the American people have a net worth of over $1 million. 3%.
Mm.
Now, what does that mean? That's assets, all your assets, your home, your car, your retirement, your properties, your investments, your savings account, the furniture in your home, less liabilities,
Okay.
the mortgage, the car payments. And I see it way too many times, people going to retirement with big house payments and big car payments. They're getting their dream house. They got a nightmare. Okay. Got a nightmare at age 65. So just think about that. Only 3% of the American people have will have a net worth of $1 million or more. Now, we think $1 million is a lot of money, but let's take a look at some things I think it's important for people to look at here. What does it take? Okay, say anybody out there today, and you're saying, well, gee, I'm not getting into financial planning, but what would it take for me to save long-term, month after month after month, to create $1 million? $1 million. Well, let me talk to you about what $1 million generates at a 5% rate of return. It generates a $50,000 a year income. So if you're making 80, you're going to be way short on your savings. Would you agree? So you're going to
take just a tad.
Yeah, most people retire less than what they were making.
And Tom, what you're showing me here is it intrigues me. But then, the other side of the coin, you're going to hear the other folks say, well, hey, Tom, I don't need to worry about anything because I got Social Security,
Yeah, that's if it's going to even be around in 10 years. You asked me a question, what's the state of affairs? Not good. Individually, not even taking the economy, what's going on, whatever the political stance, all the things that are going on around us, what's happened with COVID. But the real picture is not pretty, just on its normal, in good times.
Right.
The picture's not a pretty picture for most American people. And there's a lot of reasons why people don't know. Let's take a look at the 40-year plan. This is what most people do. I get that job, I'm going to save myself to retirement, or I'm going to rely on Social Security. Let's take a look at what we got here. See if I find what I'm looking at. So let's take that banner off. So, Mark, can you see that?
Oh, I see it perfect.
So if I was sitting down with a young person and they say, yeah, I want to be a millionaire by age 50. This is what I've been coaching for years. There isn't any reason anybody can't be a millionaire by the age of 50. Well, let's say at age 25, you're going to have to save what? $1,350. Well, that's not a reality for somebody just getting on their career started. So if you put that off until you're I'll start savings, you're going to save $2,100 a month to age 50 to get $1 million. But he said, well, you know what? Getting my kids through school and, you start saving at 35, $3,350 to have $1 million. And then at age 40, this is where most people think they're going to start saving money for retirement.
Oh, wow.
They got their kids maybe in school, and then college will bankrupt you.
Right.
So here's the reality. You have to save $6,100 a month.
Right.
Go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to say, I always like talking about this, and I'm going to share this. What you're talking is true, and you can fake yourself out all you want. Anybody out here listening, and these facts aren't contrived or they were pulled out of where Tom's sitting. They're facts. So this is what you deal with day in and day out. And I guess for some people, if you don't have an alternative, Tom, it is kind of doom and gloom. It's like, man, just looking at that could be depressing to somebody saying, well, I'm just starting out and you're telling me I got to do all this stuff, man. I don't know. And you're making it sound like even if I'm self-employed, I got nowhere to go, because I can't be, a business owner in the sense where I can invest in different things because I don't have that capital yet. So, what do some people do? We got some people saying hello to us too.
Yeah, we do. I just want to acknowledge some of our tribe out here.
Right.
This is Robert. How you doing, Robert? Good evening.
Thank you for joining us, Robert.
Yes. Yeah.
And
glad to have you on.
The master himself, Mr. J.R. And I won't even pronounce the name. It's just J.R. The Charlotte Flash is upon us.
All right. I appreciate you guys jumping on. Hey, share this out. We're talking about doom and gloom and, oh my God, I don't have that type of money. Well, if you start understanding how those that the 5%ers that control 95% of that's how they do that. I'm going to cover that here in a little bit because there's a way to do it. We got our traditional 40-year plan, save and invest and that type of thing. And it works if you work it. The question is most people don't work the plan. So I'll get to it. I'd rather
I think that went out with the greatest generation, my mom and dad's era and your mom and dad's era. I think that's where we lost it. I could be wrong, but that's what I submit to America. That was a great generation of people, man.
Yeah. Two reasons why people are suffering financially today. Financial illiteracy, ignorance. They don't understand how money's made, created. We've been taught the wrong things, okay? So that's part of it. And it's not taught in schools. It's not taught in schools. And
right.
These are principles that anybody can learn.
And do you know how true that is? Because I just recently had one leave high school and now he's in college and they're still not talking about these things. It's mind blowing. Now, if you're a business major in college, different, but like in high school, they don't even talk about this stuff, Yeah.
So we're not being educated. Most kids can't even understand what a checkbook is or how to balance their account out. So just the basics of a zero-based budget, they're not taught, okay? And not taught how finance works, not taught how interest kills your wealth building strategies, being in debt, all these things not taught. But here's the big problem why people are suffering today financially. Culturally, we've been programmed to take advantage of it today. Go ahead and enjoy that new car. Go buy that $60,000 car that you can't afford to pay cash for. Right?
Right.
This is the difference between wealthy people.
Right.
Wealthy people ask this one question: can I get it at a bargain? And the non-wealthy person says, what's the monthly payment?
Right.
They approach it totally different. They look at the dollars they spend. Am I spending dollars to create assets? Because you buy a car, it's the worst investment you could ever make.
Amen to that. The minute you drive it off the lot.
Exactly. Especially if you finance it or leased it, you're in big trouble. So there's a lot of things that people aren't aware of. We're in a culture of spend, enjoy today. Look at our commercials. And it's not a new phenomenon. It's been going on for 50 years. TV and radio and everything you turn around it's all about the marketing to get you to spend your money today with no, you can't, you want that brand new car, you want those designer jeans, hey, just put it on your Visa MasterCard. Yeah. Here's the key. I'm going to pay my credit card off every month. 90% of the people do not. And they carry that debt over. And they're spending 19 to 24% of next year's income just to pay off a depreciating asset. Oh, do the math. I'd be glad to meet with anybody on that to show you how insane that is when you see the numbers. It's only through awareness. So we're culturally trained not to save, not to invest. We're not taught to go into business, how to create money. Just get a good job. So we're going to talk a little bit about some strategies here in that. Let's see who we got. You want to bring up?
And Sandy's with Sandy Archer.
Hi, Sandy. Good evening, Sandy.
And I got to say, this gentleman, Believe in Yourself. I believe you said it's. Oh wow, he's bestowing wisdom here. Like had the 29-year plan reached fruition, it would have returned about $47K a year and medical benefits going. He's going through different scenarios. What happened in 1990? Constructive dismissal that needs to be addressed. Saw me leave at age 50. He's talking about himself probably here, isn't it, Dave? I believe. Wow, he's got a whole bunch of cool things he's sharing with us here, Tom. Wow.
And anybody that's out here, you can reach out to myself and Mark as we go through this on the finance side. I'd be glad to meet.
Sandy says, I need this advice. Sandy, we all need this advice. I mean, it's just an ongoing proposition. I always used to laugh at my dad, and I'm not laughing, but there's a guy that went through high school. He retired as sergeant major. He did leave the face of this planet as a millionaire. I shared this with you backstage, Tom, and he worked for the Bethlehem Steel for 33 years as well. That's the way he did it. But like I said, for you to do that today, to stay somewhere that long, that's not going to happen. I mean, companies don't want you there that long. Let's get real about it, America. I'm just telling you the truth. So,
with what you said there too, and I'll share this story. I grew up in a household.
Right.
My parents grew up in the Depression era. It was always lack, and money was for somebody else, and all sorts of crazy thinking about lack mentality. And I held that for years until I started to become more aware about finances and personal development coaching and those type of things. But I want to share this story because I think it's important to realize that you can over your lifetime save yourself with wealth, having some good advice along the way.
Right.
You're not going to do it in a bank account, right? But mutual funds and those type of things and different savings investment vehicles with good counsel. My wife's family, her mother and father, raised 6 kids. Okay. That family, I know the family history. He never made more than $45,000 a year and retired a millionaire.
Wow.
A multi-millionaire. How does somebody do that? He didn't buy investment properties. He saved his way there. He had some good counsel along the way. He got some good mentors in that area. but he saved his way. There's people that I've coached that are making $500,000 a year, don't have a net worth of $10,000.
Wow.
What's the difference? A lot of it's right here. Your relationship with the money. What is your goal, your outcome? So we can talk a lot about that, but I want to stay on track of how do you build an asset? How do you build wealth? Because we just went through a couple things here. Let's see. Make sure we get these comments addressed here.
Oh yeah, Dave was sharing. He said it's about himself. Yes, that's true, Dave. I appreciate him sharing all his comments.
So we already covered what it takes to retire a millionaire in the traditional sense, right? Save your money, live below your means, stay out of debt. You still could live a good life, but you're going to, you have to set different priorities, right? Also, what we're seeing, and I think it's important, and when I've counseled, when see people financially, you're one event away from bankruptcy. Any family in America today, if you don't have proper protection, so on and so forth. And most people will neglect having protection to protect those assets, right? No, I'd pay insurance, then one major event, health event, accident, loss of job, can't work, whatever. And we're experiencing that in COVID this last year. How many people were displaced, lost their jobs, not even secure if their job is going to last this year?
Absolutely.
So what is my question for anybody is, what's your plan B? What is a plan B? What would you do and I'm not taking anything away from everybody having a job, as long as you love it. Okay, that's the key. Most people hate their job. 80% of people get up on Monday, hate going to their job. I've been living 40 years loving getting up every morning. I've been gainfully unemployed 40 years. Okay, I left corporate world to be an entrepreneur, and I started to understand how wealth is built. It's not in a job. You can do it, but if you want to accelerate it, how many people want to accelerate their wealth?
You got to look at these two comments that Dave threw at us. He said, "What's the average return annually on $1 million?" And then he said the rent here has increased from $949 2008 to $1447, while the income did increase. Now that's 70% of take home. He said, I can no longer imagine where I would sleep in. It's just incredible. He's sharing some cool stuff here. It's truth.
Most people don't understand the other thing that kills their financial is they're not keeping up with the cost of living, inflation.
There you go.
And you've got to have strategies that if you're saving your way to wealth, you've got to make sure that after you pay your taxes and inflation, all stuff, that you're growing. And through good, solid investment advice. And a lot of people think, I don't have enough money to have. You can get a good investment advisor for $100 a month in savings and investment programs. Okay.
Right.
But let's really talk about how do you, all those issues and not having the right information. We're culturally trained not to save and invest, get a job, all that. But how do the 95%ers control 95% of the wealth in this country? What would you think, Mark?
Well, they're sure not working for somebody, I can tell you that.
how anybody that's out there, drop a 1 in the comments if you know who Robert Kiyosaki is.
Right.
Tag and share this, drop a 1 in there to see if everybody knows who Robert Kiyosaki is. I read his book years ago, followed him for years. Okay. So let's talk about, I'm going to bring this up right here. Let's see with some other banners here. We covered that. Hey, this is the reality of Social Security. Take a look at that. Now, we may have some Canadians in the audience here, but this is the reality here in the United States. At age 65, the average Social Security benefit is $1,321. That's going to be the 90 percenters of America and are going to be looking at that income. Well, I got a house and asset. You can't spend your house. The money's tied up in the equity. You have to take another loan to get that money. Not a good idea at age 65. Okay. So this is the reality where most people are looking at if in the event Social Security is going to be there 10 years, 20 years, 30 years ago from now. Not a pretty picture, especially if you're making $5,000 or $6,000 a month. Something's going to break. Okay. So let's talk. I'm going to bring this up here. We've got some more comments. You want to bring those up while I look for the
Yes. That is me, Canadian. Dave's saying he's a Canadian. And he actually wanted us to know that he meant that in a good way when he was talking about those percentages. He wasn't, griping or anything, but and then he says, I thought for a moment you said get another mom. Did you say that? No, I don't think we said that. Get another mom.
What did he say?
Dave, I'm trying to understand that statement you made there, but unless you're messing with us, but which I don't think he is. And Sandy reiterated, I need this, I need to listen to this, and we all do. I mean, it's just something constantly you need to be doing every day, and yeah.
I'm going to bring up those that know Robert Kiyosaki. I encourage anybody out there to get his book, understand the principles he teaches. And there's different ways to accumulate wealth. And I'll cover those here in a moment. Let's take a look at, there's only 4 ways. Ask yourself where you are in this quadrant. The upper left hand is employee, what we've been taught. You work, make money by working for other people. What happens if there's no more work? You're trading your time for dollars.
Right.
Self-employed. This is where a lot of people say, I want to be. Well, I got a talent. Hey, I'm a good woodworker. I'm good at mechanics. Hey, I love gardening. I'm going to create a landscape company, or I'm going to, whatever. I want to be a coach. Self-employed. What you have here is what? You own a job. You may love it, but guess what happens if you stop coaching somebody? What happens to your income? Or I always tell people, you're in sales, you're basically in business for yourself. But what happens if you stop selling? Go on vacation, get hurt, get sick. Self-employed is an avenue to create more money than you can in a job, but you're tied to the job. You own a job. So our goal and objective is to get you to start thinking about how do you move from the left-hand 2 quadrants over to a business owner. And a business owner. Well, I got a business. No, if you're over here by yourself, you don't have a true business runs with or without you. Runs with or without you. And the other side is an investor. What's the problem with investing? I want to get into real estate. Now, we've got some great colleagues that we can turn on to, like Corey Calvin in real estate. But traditionally, creating assets through investing takes money on the front end. So our goal is to show you that if you're on the left side, start changing your mindset. How do you get onto the right side where wealth is created? No matter what age you are. I love Ray Kroc's story. He was 65, right? Became a billionaire. Why can't you? Right?
Absolutely.
I love posing those questions, because we talked a little bit about those things, but let's talk about how do you move from an employee or self-employed, which you just own a job, you may love it, but you're at the same risk as an employee. So let's talk about how you shift it. Let's take a look at the options if you're going to create wealth. What are they? We got a bunch of people making some comments.
Dave says he's doing his deal through investing. One of the new income streams that I'm building, he says, is investing. And I don't make fun of that. I applaud you for that.
You have a plan, you work it, you'll get results. That's just one option. Some people won't work because they don't have the startup capital to invest. Let's take a look.
It's not Dave, it's Brooker is his name. I apologize.
Okay.
The believe in yourself. My apologies there, Mr. Brooker. Sorry about that.
So here's the number one problem. I want to go into business. I don't want to work for the man. He's using my skills and my talents. I can take it out and I can do better. I've always made more money working myself than working for somebody else. So here's the problem. You go into business, even a small business. It could be a lawn mowing business. So you got to buy a truck. Well, if you don't have a truck, there's 20 grand, 50 grand. Need a trailer. You need a commercial.
License or
licensing, all that stuff. You need a lawn mowing machine. You need blowers. Before you know it, you've got 100 grand before you've got one contract.
Insurance. You're going to need some form of insurance.
All sorts of costs. People don't think that. Go into business. Most people fail in business because they go in undercapitalized. They don't have the money. They go into debt. And then it takes, 80% of businesses fail within 3 years, new businesses. So you got to have a strategy. So a lot of people look at, I don't have the assets. I want to put my house up. I don't want to give everything I've worked hard for to go into business. So let me take a look at the next option. Franchises. Now there's a lot of franchises out there. It's a tricky business out there. It costs a lot of money to get into a franchise, especially those that have been around a while. But I looked at franchises when I was looking at business strategies. And guess what? Some of the things that fit within my core values and what I would do and my skill sets, as I was looking at a minimum of $60,000.
Right.
And then they get a piece of the pie every month. And that's not counting all the other operating costs, websites and marketing. And so just to get the name of the franchise and have a system that's proven itself to work. So you make a big investment,
right,
to get very little return on the dollars you spend. What would it cost for a McDonald's franchise? Anybody know? Any of these. Okay, so it's outside. And the return you get off that investment, you go, why did I do that? I invested $2.5 million and I'm only getting $170,000 your income. That's not a good ROI. Okay.
And plus they own the real estate too, right? I mean,
yeah, there's whatever you're looking at. So franchise is an option. I'm not just discounting, because I know a lot of people love their franchise. They got a system. They're willing to make the investment.
But a tractor trailer.
Yeah. And just like in my financial coaching, my wife and we spend a substantial amount of money to be trained to become coaches. It's been very good. But most people don't have that capital to invest, to learn, to train, to do something that you love. Okay? Money. So we get the next area of building wealth or getting is real estate. Shoot, I can't even buy my own house. I'm going to buy investment properties, right? That's an avenue. And there's different ways to do it. I'm not down, I know people that could show you how to do it, no money down in that process, but you've got to have to be a student of that industry and
sure,
make investments in learning, if nothing else, to be successful. And the other models that people have myths about is network marketing, affiliate marketing, MLM. a lot of people don't realize these three entities have made more millionaires than most other business opportunities out there. Why is that? They got a product, they got a service, they got a system. Just have to find the right one for you. Okay. I've been involved. Many people have been involved. I'm still involved today in it because I'll share with you that some of these systems work. So let's take go ahead.
I was just going to say there, when you mention those two, wouldn't you say like MLM or either affiliate marketing is analogous to franchising, except with the huge capital outlay of, putting down dollars and cents before you can even open up the doors?
Yeah. So if you move into those arenas, find the thing you love to do, research like anything else. If you're making an investment in a franchise, you want to make sure certain things. If you're building a partnership with somebody to build a business, you got to do a lot of research and make sure you got all your ducks in order, all those type of things. So, but we got a lot of comments going up here tonight.
Yeah.
Let's address some of those, because I'm going to share some concepts with you that I've applied in my life and I'm sharing with other people. Won't get into details here tonight, but you're welcome to contact myself and Mark, and I can share some of the things that I do to help people build wealth, both as a financial coach as well as products and services. So who do we got up here, Mark? We got
I'm going to call it the Brooker factor. He's just, I could not drive anything but a tractor trailer. And then he goes, including school buses. I had in-laws monitoring our finances to ensure we could not break even, let alone take advantage of anything. Wow. I'm trying to understand that concept. I don't know if that's a joke, but it's not, probably not. It's real. Her mother actually bragged about this to me. The 10X commenter must engage to continue to move forward. I mean, he's throwing a bunch of things at us here. So,
Mark, you mind? I'm going to share a concept with everybody out here tonight.
I would do it. Go for it.
First question: do you feel that you're financially secure where you're doing today, and will it carry you into the future? Are you sure of that? That's a question for everybody to ask. If not, you got to start looking for ways to secure your financial future. Because who's going to take care of you at retirement? I mean, I always point that. Don't rely on your government, no matter whether you're in Canada or the United States. Don't rely on that. That formula is not a winning formula. So if you're looking at things, you're looking for options. I share with people how you can create $1 million asset. Now, what is an asset? Mark, would you like to venture out and answer that question?
Well, I'm gonna let you deal with it. I don't want to steal your thunder. So this is your
asset. It could be a business that you've created that you don't have to be there, that generates an income month in, month out. Real estate assets. You got a huge asset in the value of property and the land and all that. But what you're looking for, what type of income does it give you on a monthly basis? Well, it may take years to accumulate an asset that pays $1 million of return. Okay. So what does $1 million asset look like? If you had $1 million in cash or an investment, got a 5% return, it would generate $4,000 a month. That's $1 million asset. Now, if you had that type of asset built in 2 to 3 years, would that change your life? Would that change your retirement picture?
Oh, yeah.
If you're making 80, 90,000, that's far from, but if you could build $1 million asset in a 2-year period, why can't you build 4? without capital investment. That'd be an interesting concept. You're going to have to invest some time and energy. But what if somebody could show you, and there's a lot of companies, a lot of people do this out here, and I can show you how that formula works, how you can create in a 2-year period of time using the concepts of Robert Kiyosaki, being a business owner where you have multiples of people producing income back to you. See, the company you work for today, you're working for them, and your boss is getting all the rewards of 100, 200 people, 300 people, sales forces. Mark, you work in a sales organization, right?
Yes.
Whose dream are you building?
The owners.
Would you like to have
technically
5 or 6 marks working for you?
Oh, yeah, it'd be fantastic. Yeah.
That's a business. They can go on vacation. They still have income, right?
Right. Absolutely.
You go on vacation. What happens to your sales activity, Mark?
It goes Zippo.
Zero.
I'm not out there doing it, and that's the thing about working for the man,
Yeah. So my recommendation is for people to start, if you're not satisfied, not sure about what the future brings, start asking questions. Find people that are in the 5%. Find people that are 3%ers in the economy. Find people that have done it and then talk to them. Maybe there are opportunities in which you would want to do, but you at least get the indication of how do you create $1 million asset in 2 years. And if you want to get a hold of myself or Mark, I can lay that out in about 30 minutes, what that looks like and how to do it. Okay. So Mark, are you excited about having another $1 million asset being built in the next 2 to 3 years?
Hell yeah, I am. I'm just being blunt. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to happen at what I'm doing right now. No. That's for sure. And don't get me wrong. I love what I do. I really do. I love helping people. But the reality is what you're talking about. And it's nice to have choices. And that's what it's all about for me, is the choice.
Yeah. And being aware of options. And, that's the whole thing. Most people are not aware how economies are created, how money's created.
Right.
I love the fact that I create my own economy day by day, month by month, year by year.
And I think, Tom, too,
go ahead.
I didn't interrupt you. I think some, not all, some people are using this the C factor, COVID, as an excuse. As they say, any excuse will do. And I'm not being mean, but you got to move forward. And we're not going back. It's pretty obvious we're not going back to the old model. A lot of people don't want to agree with that. And I know one industry in particular, and I won't mention the industry, but I was in that industry, and they are hell-bent for election that it's going to be the way it used to be, and it's not going to be. Things are different, and you can fight it all you want. That's the reality of it. You can talk to people in the banking industry, which I do from time to time, since you're talking about investments, and things have changed, In
a big way. So it's just being informed. And myself being a personal development coach, this is, elevate your profits from the mindset to the bank and everything in between. How do you become successful in life or in business? Is you got to get out of the mainstream of what we've been taught. Keep in mind, 5% of the American people own 95% of the assets of this country. Some of them are from rags to riches. How did they do that? A lot of people, well, they got lucky. They inherited. No. 75% of all the millionaires they created it themselves. They didn't inherit it. They started just like you and I. They had a dream. They had a vision. They associated themselves with successful people. How do you do it? I think, Mark, we can sort of tout the horn here for our Grow Live Academy. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. This is a great model and platform to use if you're not using it. Anybody out there? I mean,
Is what's happened is it's shifted how I was doing business a year ago at this time. A year ago at this time, I was going, oh my gosh, all the people, my coaching clients went away. 100 grand worth of business gone.
right.
Boom. So what do? Well, I didn't sit around and cry. I knew how to build businesses. I built many businesses in my life. And my wife and I, we run 6 businesses. So that's my plan B. If something goes down, I'm not devastated. Everything I do is something I love, my wife loves, and they run parallel. So I'm not going off in 15 different directions. Everything runs in alignment to what I have value in.
Right.
Makes it work. I get excited getting up every day to go out and create. And that's an entrepreneur. You go out and create. So
so I guess what you're telling us, Tom, is Social Security is what 90% of America is relying on. That's really not the answer. And the 40+ year plan, I hate to be doom and gloom here because that's not my MO, but that's not really a true reality either, is it? People working 40 years at one place or another and retiring that way.
no.
So
I could never understand the concept. Even if you have a pension, even if you save money in a 401k,
right.
and let's say you're making a combined family income of 100,000, okay, just use that as a number, and you saved in your 401k or in your pension plan, and you created a lifestyle at $100,000 your income. How is a pension that's only going to give you 40 to 60% of what you were making be able to support your lifestyle? It doesn't work. Why are so many people work their entire life and they're getting second jobs? Not because they wanted to, they have to. They just didn't understand some of the things that we're sharing here today. And there's solutions to every problem. That's what I love. That's what I coach. If you say you can, you're right. If you say you can't, you're right again. It's just, what do you want out of life? What are you willing to invest? What's the price you want to pay? See, there's a price to pay for inaction. There's a price to pay for anybody watching tonight saying, well, that sounds good, if you don't investigate it. It's only through awareness do you have a chance to make an evaluation for success. And that's what I love about Grow Live Academy. Not just what we're doing here streaming. This is a way that I'm promoting my businesses and doing some things a different way. And the people, that we're associating with, they're forward thinkers. Would you agree, Mark?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not inventing anything here. All I learned a long time ago is find somebody successful, talk to them, ask them how they did it, and then do exactly what they tell you to do.
Right.
It's that simple. Financial coaching, real simple. How do you win financially? Spend less than you make. Get out of debt. Stay out of debt. Because debt, I wrote a book, and I'll get that if anybody wants it, how debt robs your wealth building strategy. It's a number one killer of wealth. And save some money. Don't worry about where and how, but that formula will always work. I'm a big, big fan of Warren Buffett, and that's what he says. You want to become a millionaire by age 50? Get out of debt, stay out of debt, live below your means. That doesn't mean you're sacrificing. You set priorities around to an objective financially, and you save money. And you'll learn how to save as you become more aware. That's the 40-year plan. It works 100% of the time if you work it.
Yep.
But ask yourself, are you one of the 10%ers doing that? If you're not, what's your next plan? What's your plan B? How are you going to get there?
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Just a mindset. And I love teaching these principles. My wife and I, we've been very successful. We've worked hard. I'm not taking anything as this thing didn't fall out of, I did my research. I went after things I had passion for. My wife does the same thing. We do what we do because we love it. And guess what happens? When you do what you love, money comes if you have the right mentors in life as well. So there's strategies out there. I'd be glad, and Mark would be glad to reach out to us. And we would be glad to share with you some of the things I'm plugged into, Mark is plugged into, for your consideration. It may not be right for you. That's fine too. But you've got to start investigating what are your options out there. And I believe some of the things that I'm doing are some of the best options I've seen for the average person to do that they can feel good about, to build a residual income. I can demonstrate to you in a very simple formula how to build $1 million asset in less than 2 years. And that may sound like an overwhelming thing. It will generate $4,000 a month like clockwork. What are you doing today that's going to, and you could walk away from it, will it, sell it. That's an asset if you can sell it, and you can will it. That's an asset. A lot of things out there aren't assets. You die, it's gone. I can share with you how you can create that business entity to create a $1 million asset in 2 years. So if you had 5 or 10 years, what would a $10 million asset generate in income a month? 20, 30,000 a month or more. What is your business plan going to pay you when you retire? I guarantee you not 20 to 30,000. Just some things for thought. Sounds arrogant, but you've got to, I'm here to disturb you, hopefully, to start looking and questioning. So.
Well, Mr. Believe in Yourself here says, I do anticipate making my goals using leverage in an ethical way. It is the future. I believe you, Tom, as the perspective of what is possible has been shifting to what if I can. So, yeah, we had running dialogue here in this one. So,
okay. And we got a lot, boy, we got a long string of, I thank everybody that's making those messages, but our whole message with Elevate Your Profits is we're going to bring in other people that are going to maybe take a piece of what we've talked about tonight, maybe real estate, how they did it in real estate, how they did it in investing, how they did it in network marketing, how they did it in affiliate marketing. So you can see that there are real common people, that have done it.
Absolutely.
That have done it. And that's what our objective is. We'll be also bringing in people that, what you need to know. Do you have a good CPA? Do you have a good investment? What are you looking for? That's Elevate Your Profits. We want to create a forum and a tribe to support. If you're looking for a change, we want to create a tribe where we have the resources or people you can talk to. All right. Just like Grow Life Academy. What a great resource Ken Walls has been for us.
Right.
And some of the other people that we've networked with and starting to see how they've done it. They come in on Thursday nights. Right. So, Mark, anything else you'd like to say tonight?
No, I appreciate you going over Robert Kiyosaki's 4 quadrants. And he's got that formula EBSI, employee, business owner, self-employed, investor. There it is.
There it is.
It just makes you think about things. And, I often used to hear this from my brother-in-law who had his own business. And he said, sometimes, Mark, I feel like I am, even though I'm self-employed, I still have a job. And, because of what he did, and not that he wasn't successful, he became a millionaire in his own right. But, he said, some of the trials and tribulations from a business perspective. But one thing that was very profound, which you touched on, most people look at ways on how to save money. He said there's nothing wrong with that. But his whole mindset was, I look at ways and opportunities how to create money or wealth. And that's one of the things I notice about people that have a few pennies in their pocket. You know, they're always looking at different ways on how to express themselves, as I like to say, the musical end of me financially, you know, and they do. It's kind of cool to watch it happen.
Yeah.
And that was my brother-in-law, you know, God rest his soul, in a nutshell. I think, you know, he might have finished high school. I can't remember, Tom, but, you know, wisdom, just incredible, you know, when it came to running a business and how it works.
With the right mindset, the right coaching, the right mentorship, the right vehicles, the right direction. And I guarantee you, if you're following the path where everybody else is going, you're going in the wrong direction. I just guarantee it. You got to find what those 5%, they're going in a different direction.
Right.
They're not lucky. They've just had good mentors. They have some good dreams and visions. And they're willing to take a risk. Well, my job is secure. No, your job is not secure. There's risk right now in every person's job. There's no such thing as job security.
And, you know, some people, Tom, you brought up another great point. Some people may do a second job. I don't make fun of that. I umpire, I get paid. But here's the reality. If I get whacked and get knocked out of commission, guess what? I can't umpire. And sometimes a fastball may hit me, depending on where it hits me, you know, I may not be back, you know, God willing, that hasn't happened yet. But, you know, if you take a kill shot to the face and get a concussion, that's not funny. And it can happen.
Just like that, Mark. Just one second's good, and next second I'm in the hospital.
And right. And those guys in the major league make 6 figures plus, but I mean, that is a risky profession to stand behind there at 90 miles an hour coming at you.
Yeah. I would just encourage, and I'll make this comment. If you study success, success leaves clues. That's one of the things I coach. And, you know, like Napoleon Hill, if you start seeing certain things, but also if you haven't read the book, The Millionaire Next Door, you got to read it. And the reason before it, there's more millionaires around you than you're even aware of. Warren Buffett, he's still driving the Cadillac he bought in 1990 or 87. He still lives in the same ranch house that he did. And he's a billionaire. You would never know him if you ran across him other than this picture of his face. There's more millionaires and billionaires around you. And I've been at tables with a billionaire in some of my training, okay, in the past. And they're just like you and I. They're not lucky. They worked hard. They're not any more talented than you or whatever, but they just understood that they follow where the crumbs of success, and they replicate and do it. So pick up that book, The Millionaire Next Door. And the last thing, if you only got one source of income, you're one event away from being bankrupt. One event, one paycheck away. 80% of the American people are one bank paycheck away from losing everything. The average millionaire has 5 sources of income. Interesting. How do they do that? 5 sources of income. When COVID hit, yeah, I got hit hard, but I didn't crumble and die. I just said, I'm going to remodify a few things. And my income never stopped in some other areas. I got built a security net with 5 sources of income. You can do the same. So you can save your way to wealth. Like I always coach people, if you find a way to save money, don't take the savings and buy more junk because you'll be as broke as you are today next year.
Right.
Take it and put it to work. How am I going to create that asset? And there's so many different ways to create those assets. So,
absolutely.
Well, Mark, our guest didn't show up. I hope we were able to give a good message tonight for our audience.
I hope so. I learned a lot, Tom, and it is about looking for other opportunities out there and not getting locked into a job. And even if you have your own business, I would strongly advise you to look at other things. I know some people think, hey, I'm self-employed and I got it covered. And I beg to differ if that's the only thing you're doing. I know some people will tell me, well, Mark, what do you know? But, I think I learned a thing or two along the way. And,
Yeah.
I went through some struggles. Some of my struggles, Tom. So,
Yeah. I
So,
think that's important for everybody here. Anybody we talk to that has had tremendous amount of success, I know quite a few people that I know their story. They bankrupt 2 or 3 times,
right,
able to get up,
right.
but they learn from their mistakes. Some are out of the control, some is their own problem. But if you look at the people that are succeeding in a very big way, they're willing to get up again and try again.
Yeah.
So if there's risk in a job, there's a risk in being self-employed.
Yep.
You minimize risk by having multiple streams of income and a business that runs on its own. Right. You eliminate that risk in a big way. So I just want to close with that, Mark.
And JR hopped on and said, sage advice. Thanks to both of you for upgrading life values. Well, thank you, JR. And, there's another guy that's, he's knocked it out of the park in his past. And, we all go through ups and downs and, good dude. JR's to me, JR, I'm just going to say it. You are Mr. Charlotte. So look out, Jeffrey Gittimer. I'm teasing, but no. Good. He's a good man. I mean, JR is a good guy to know too. Very knowledgeable.
Yeah. Well, audience, Mark, I put this together a half hour before we got on here, so I hope we were able to get some good information out there to have people evaluate. Join us every week. We're going to have some pretty. Hey, who's coming on next week? Who do we got coming in next week?
Next week we have. Is it Mr. Tuttle? Is that
Warren Tuttle?
Tell me what he does now. Is this guy an inventor? Is that what I'm?
He's an inventor. So here's another way to create residual income. Your great ideas. How do you take them and monetize them? Create a patent, get them to the marketplace, and get paid forever. Another way of creating a residual income.
That's incredible.
Warren Tuttle. So if you have a great and brilliant idea, he's the guy you go to get backing around your idea to be able to take it to market so you get paid forever. How would you like to be the person that invented a 3M stick-it note?
Yeah.
The guy was an employee, so it was proprietary to 3M. But there was a gal or guy, I forget the story exactly. But if you invented something and you had a patent as simple as a stick-it note that pays you pennies on the dollar on every case that goes out of stick-it notes, that's what he helps people do. You got a great idea, he'll help you figure out how to take it to market and create an opportunity for yourself. But you need advice. You need some good people. There's charlatans out there in any industry, but I was referred to Warren Tuttle from Andrea Pass, which we interviewed in one of our first meetings, public relations and marketing, right?
Right.
So Warren's going to come in. I believe there's everybody out there has a good idea that can be taken to the market if we just think about it.
Yeah, we need to put our minds together. You made me think of, you showed the sticky there, the 3M version. How about these, the gem clip and the paper clip? I mean, I wish I would have thought of that. Today I had to use a couple of these. And I'm like, man, why couldn't I come up with that idea? But
well, we've all had one idea that crossed and you never saw it, and then 5 years later it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You need somebody to say, that's a great idea, let me show you let's make this thing work, right? I
Absolutely.
believe everybody I ever talked to, I had this idea and somebody else got it. So, but anyway, Mark, you're awesome guy, man. I love being associated with you in business together.
Well, thank you.
Just reach out to us if you got any questions. Sandy, if you want to, get any coaching about money and financial coaching, I'm glad to do that. Just reach out to us. Our networks are pretty strong. We can at least refer you to somebody. So
absolutely. And
man, look at that.
Hey, we got to thank everybody for hopping on board here again. I just, Sandy, JR.
Thanks, JR.
And thank you for sharing, both JR and Sandy. Greatly appreciate that. And my main man here, believe in yourself, the Brooker Factor. I thank you so much, though, for all your comments. And we know you could be somewhere else, and join us. Make it a Monday weekly thing, and climb on board, because I think you're really going to enjoy.
Do we want to do ticklers? Who's coming up?
Excuse me?
You want to throw some ticklers out there? Who's coming up the following week?
The
19th.
Well, it's a guy that knows somebody. Could it be like Nappy, Napoleon Hill? Gentleman that actually knew and hung around Napoleon Hill. One of the last of the last greats. A gentleman that actually had Zig Ziglar working for him at one time. That's a fact. Should I say the name? Did I dare say the name?
You can.
Okay. Holiday Magic. I could go on and on and on as to how many books and what he's done. As he kiddingly says, and Ben, please don't get mad. I know you have shoes still older than me today, but I'm talking about Ben Gay the third. That's who's coming up, and he can talk to us about this subject matter in depth. And I can't wait to hear how Holiday Magic, how he did all this direct sales. I think. What
about the idea of the 800 number? How he created that?
There you go.
An idea. Another great idea.
Yeah.
And
you know what? He's still doing it, Tom. He's coming up with more material, and it's incredible.
Yeah, he addresses strongly about what we talked about: network marketing, affiliate marketing, because he's made millions and millions of dollars and helped other people make millions and millions of dollars with those business models. So join in. You're going to hear from somebody that has done it, lived it, and continues sharing it. So, and then we got a whole bunch of great people
coming. I think, Tom, we're booked up all the way through June now, right?
We are. Yes, we are. So anybody out there that we're open to talk with you.
Yeah, let us know.
Everybody in this audience has value that can help another individual grow their business. Because if you're out here and have a business, you have the level of success that should be shared. And that's what we want to do. So reach out to Mark and I, and we'll glad to get you on one of our programs.
Absolutely.
So are you ready, Mark?
Well, I guess that concludes the interview, as they say. Like I like to tell batters as they step into the batter's box, welcome to my office. And as they strike out, sometimes that concludes the interview, or if they get a hit. But I enjoyed this evening, and I got a lot out of it. I really did.
Good. Thank you. So everybody out there, ask yourself this one question. What's my plan B in life? And that could probably fill everything else we talked in tonight. So we're going to sign out, Mark. Okay?
That works.
You got it. Let me get this extra. What do they call that? We got
the exit music, intro and exit.
Exit, all that technical stuff. Here we go.